Going live. You're live. Hey, everyone. Just close out of some of these tabs. Why does it look different? It looks different. YouTube did something, but I can't tell what. It looks different behind or in the back end. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Really quick, just FYI, I've got a really bad windstorm going on right now. So if this stream just cuts off for some random reason, I probably have lost power is what's going on. So I probably won't be back if it randomly cuts off. And if that is the case, I'm hoping not, then any donations I'll save for next time. But it's really bad windstorm right now. So just wanted to preface that right off the bat in case I lose you guys. Thank you. It's fine. We as parents understand. Yes. It'll only get worse as I have more kids, I'm sure. Hello, Taylor Hobson. Hello, Silly Rabbit. I know who Silly Rabbit is now, and it made me very excited. I won't reveal her secrets, but all right, I'm starting my timer. So when that goes off, whoever's a member that comments closest will get that readings. But let me do kind of my announcements before we jump into things. So if you are new here, welcome. Please subscribe. If you want to know when I am going to be live next, why does it look so different? Sorry. I'm it's like a wider screen. You can see more of my background. Maybe it's my camera. I don't know why everything looks different. But if you want to see when I'm going to be live next, there is a schedule in the description down below. If you can't really remember where to find it, it's always on my website on the events page. Hello, Lori. Good evening. Are you getting blown away too? Let's see. Yes, the bunny has a face now, and she can keep herself private. But she messaged me and she was like, "Oh, and by the way, I'm Silly Rabbit." I'm like, "What?" I got so excited because for those of you who are in here regularly, I see your names or I see your handles a lot. I have no idea what you look like, so it's nice to know I'm not talking to nobody. Hey, Cheyenne. Hey, everybody. It is ridiculous. I said at the beginning, if for some reason the stream gets cut off, I have a really bad windstorm here in Denver. So it might be that I lost power because I am in my shed and the power to this is just kind of hanging up above. So we'll see. Alrighty, you guys. So let's see. I got my timer set. Tonight I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. I just like to mix it up. Or else I get bored doing the same thing too many times in a row. And what I'm going to be doing is in between readings, I am going to be pulling cards from the 90-day plan, Build Your Psychic Skills. I'm just going to be pulling them intuitively and asking hey, the people that are in here right now or just happen to be watching replay, what psychic tip do they really need to know? And I'm going to maybe talk about it for a second. Especially if you don't have these cards, it might be something new that you learn. It might be something you've already seen me do a video on. But just kind of doing something different tonight, talking about our psychic development. My guides kind of gave me that idea. But yeah, I think that's it, you guys. Just remember, too, we do have member live nights back. We had our first one, was it last week? And it felt so good to be back and doing our member-only lives. If you want to sign up for that, that is through Patreon, and that is in the description down below as well. And basically at one of those tiers, you can join us for our live nights. Next month, we are going to be doing an in-person thing. If everybody wants to, I'm going to double check depending on how many members we have at that time. But I really want to do kind of a Google Meets meeting where we all just actually get to talk to each other. And I don't know what the theme will be. Maybe it's just that we're all hanging out and having a pajama party and just chatting. But we're going to do that next month. So if you definitely want to be a part of that, you're going to have to get onto Patreon and join in that membership. Let's see. Yay, that's fun. I'm very excited for it. So, technically technically we found each other. She followed me and messaged me, like a lot of you guys do. You follow me on Instagram, and I follow back. Alrighty, you guys. So if you are interested in a reading, give me a second. I'm kind of just starting going through my announcements. Then I do a group message for everybody, and then we jump into individual readings. If you send a donation, I kind of put you at the top of my list. But once I get through that list, we do free readings. My guys are telling me to do speed readings towards the end of the night. I feel like I said it out loud, so now I have to do it. So we'll do that. Every live night is PJ party, except for me. I have to get dressed. Literally all day on Tuesdays because I'm watching my son. I'm usually in my pajamas, and then come like 6 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I gotta get dressed. Put on my makeup. All right, you guys. So that was my announcement for tonight. I did not pull the cards ahead of time, but I'm going to right now. And I'm just gonna, since we're kind of doing like a psychic night, I am gonna use the psychic reading cards. I got these because I was like, well, it's got the name psychic in it, and that's what I do here on this channel. I've got to check them out. Kind of disappointed by these cards. Well, I feel like maybe 2/3 of the deck is really cool, but then the other 2/3 not so much. But sorry, I should have pre-shuffled and pulled our reading for everybody, but I will do that right now. And then after the group reading, we will do the individual reading. So while I shuffle, you can tell me how your week's been. I don't know if you can hear that wind. I might just blow away halfway through the reading. All right, so a message for everybody for developing their psychic abilities. And I feel like I've been very like in tune, I don't want to say psychic, but I'm basically intuitive the last couple of days. And I do want to share a cool story that I got that happened to me with my grandfather who has passed. All right. Sorry, I haven't even like pulled the decks out. I got too excited and I started. Normally I do this all ahead of time. So there's a list if you donate it. Otherwise, it's like guessing games, and whoever guesses what I'm thinking of gets the reading. Did I miss something? Okay. It's so loud. You guys probably can't hear it at all, but it is so windy. Also, I saw her earlier. I just wanted to share. Jana sent me this book. Thank you, Jana. I am so excited about it. This is a children's book from South Korea. I have no idea what it says. But it's a children's book all about the moon, and I'm so excited to read it to my son. I'm going to basically put a sticky note on each page and use Google Translate to figure out what it says. And then I'll read it to him, but I just wanted to like show you guys because I absolutely love this. I love Japanese and Korean like culture. Like I was watching a K-drama last night. I fell asleep watching it, but such a cute little book. Thank you, Jana. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because it was super cool. And I'll probably get a photo of like my son reading it so you can see, but I just thought that was the coolest thing. And what was crazy too was I was literally I think it was a day or two before I got it in the mail. I was Googling books about the moon for kids because my son is just obsessed with both the moon and the sun right now. He always loves pointing it out. Anytime he sees stars or any like books, he just is always pointing out. And I didn't really teach him how to do that, which is kind of cool. Shut up. Okay. So, message for everyone tonight for developing your psychic abilities. I'm also going to pull one of these cards, but I will wait. So, the biggest thing that I got was the Lovers. And this card is all about working with yourself. So when it comes to your psychic ability, it's being your own best ally. How can you work with what you're already good at with your psychic skills? And part of what I feel like this card is about is like not beating yourself up for not being able to like connect or communicate or, get certain messages that you want to get. This is all about understanding where your strengths are and trying to focus on them and work with them versus constantly staying in this energy of like, oh, I can't do it. I suck at this. Like, oh, I need this XYZ to happen before I can move forward. So when it comes to your psychic ability, I feel like I'm like getting the energy of like just letting go and like not trying to make it so difficult and so hard, and just do what works best for you and start there, because you'll find that it's going to be easier that way. And it's interesting because I'm getting literally all of these cards have two people on it. So I got the Lovers, and I'm hearing balance is why. And I got the Two of Cups, which is intuition, is all about or is cups. And then I've got loved ones in spirit and communication. So we got almost like two people here, one living, one in spirit, and then I've got like two heads over here. Literally all of these cards. That's so cool. And I'm kind of hearing several things. One is balancing like your intuitive mind and your logical mind. Maybe one is taking over a little bit more. Let me start with this Two of Cups. I also feel like this is just meaning the energy of the Lovers. It's kind of, I feel like this is both sides of you. This is you and your ego side and you and your intuition. And it's about coming to the table and saying, hey, we're going to work together versus, like, oh, I'm going to do this by myself, or I feel like I have to leave my ego completely at the door. I do feel like when it comes to psychic development, you do need a little bit of that left brain just so that you can like be disciplined, do research, do the work. So it's definitely like this balance that's coming through. Loved ones in spirit. I feel like this is for some of you who are struggling to maybe connect and do just like basic exercises. Maybe connecting with someone you love will actually help you grow your psychic abilities more. Maybe because, and there's a bunch of dragonflies all over this too, and maybe this is because you feel stronger or more connected to the people on the other side. And so when those hits come through, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know that this is exactly what they mean, or like, I know this is who they were and they would have totally said this. I mean, honestly, when I started psychic abilities stuff, like, although I knew I needed to get the basics before I started talking to spirits, I was mostly interested in talking to spirits. And I loved connecting with my family members, other family members. And so sometimes, I'm kind of hearing like, yes, the basics are necessary, but dive into what interests you. And if you're interested in like mediumship, like start there. You've got the basics from my channel. You have me as a resource if you really need to like contact me. Like don't hold back when it comes to like communicating with the spirits you actually want to communicate with. Like, I feel like the majority of the energy of the people that I'm reading right now is like, oh, well, I can't do mediumship because I'm not good yet. Or like, maybe you're comparing yourself to me or another psychic and you're just like, oh, well, I need to do all this coursework first. It's like, get rid of that. Just start from being intuitive and like where you're led to go. Let me just pull a clarifier for this. Because this was, how can you develop your psychic abilities? I got communication. I kind of feel like it's a little bit mirroring, like, hey, pick somebody to communicate with, somebody that you're interested in, and then do it. I feel like if you're just kind of, I don't know, I just feel like for some reason, like the psychic games are just not the energy tonight, which is like exactly what I was planning on doing. But I feel like sometimes the psychic games can be a little bit boring. They just don't resonate as much. Like, it's cool when you get it right, but it's completely different when you connect with real energy and you kind of get these like big moments where you are just like, holy cow, how would I have known that? How would I have gotten that? And I have no idea that I don't feel like that card went to this. Okay. Clarification for this communication card. Communication in what way? That's what I should ask. Happy. I feel like they're being a little cryptic because I got happy, and then I got addict. I don't feel like that's it. Hang on. I think I'm reading too many people at once. This is what's happening. Because I did just pull the addict card, and this was like kind of bringing to attention. I'm afraid like I'm going to get all Dorothy Ann in here and get swept up into a tornado. The addict card, though, I felt like was like, hey, stop getting in your head about like all these self-limiting beliefs of why you can't grow your psychic ability. That's definitely like part of you guys. This happy card, I feel like this is more encouraging like another section of you guys to go after what makes you happy in this realm. Like, what are you most interested in? What are you most excited in? Like, I've been super interested in Greek gods and goddesses and mythology, and I'm just going down that route because I'm interested and I'm excited about it. Oh, okay, I see. So I just pulled another clarifier, and I got the 9 of Cups. So for communication, this is talking about your psychic ability. I was like, what is going on? And this is, and that makes sense with that addict card. Okay. This is about talking about your psychic ability, getting excited about it, sharing it with other people. I remember when I first started learning about my psychic ability, I was just so excited. I was sharing it with everyone. People were honestly probably like a little agitated with me because I was talking about it so much. But when you share what you're excited about, you open yourself up to it more. So if you find that you're like keeping yourself closed off and you feel like you don't have a tribe of people around you that are into the same thing, find some friends group. I've got a group. And really, there's something about communicating what you like about this and getting excited about it that is going to help you develop it more. And with that addict card coming in, the shadow side of that card was all about like sharing to a point where you're like, oh, look, I'm psychic. And you're trying to be like the resident psychic that like is not about, hey, this is something that I do to connect, to get information. It's something that I do to get attention. And so there might be some of you out there where you kind of fall into like, oh, I'm doing it for the attention. And I like the way it feels when people are like, oh my gosh, you do what? You do that? And so maybe it's just being a little bit more cognizant of that. Because I do think that when you kind of get into that energy a little bit, you can be, I don't know, it can limit information that's coming through because it's that ego stepping in and taking the credit instead of being like, no, that's not really me. I'm just a clean and clear vessel. I'm going to thank our guides for that information instead. Let me catch up on these comments. Sorry. Thank you, Jana. I agree with that. I feel like I'm less psychic and more clairsentient. What? I can't tell if this guy is a troll or not. I'll kick you out if you're being a troll. Just FYI. Yurika, I haven't seen you in forever. I've been wondering how you've been doing. You're okay? I'm sure you're okay, but glad to see you again. I'm worried that I don't remember everyone, but some people I do remember. I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't like make her mad or scare her off. Taylor has them on day 23. Woohoo! I think so too. All right. Bye, Benjamin. How do I hide user on this channel? It's been a while since I've had to block people. That is one nice thing about the YouTube algorithm is that it's so specific that we hardly get trolls. Like, unless they go out of their way to like interact. the things that they don't enjoy, which I never understand why people would do that. Usually it's a pretty tight-knit group. When I used to be on Periscope, totally different. Even TikTok, it's just like anyone and everyone. Just been busy working out. Nice. I'm sure I'm at an odd time for you. Thank you, Eureka. All right, so I'm going to pull a random day for everybody. One more, sorry. This is for the group reading. We're going to do these sporadically tonight, but I pulled day 38, and Wednesday is the day that it's on. It's a Claire's day. I think this is the one I'm supposed to share. The telepathy experiment. Get a friend to send you a short message telepathically throughout the day. Ask your friend to imbue the message with emotions and try to visualize it going to you. During your day, pause and relax and think about your friend. Imagine a warm connection between you two. Ask psychically for the message. Record what you get using all of your clairs, particularly clairaudience, which is hearing, and then contact your friend at the end of the day to share what you received. Lighten up if you don't get it right. I'm glad I said that because sometimes I always breeze through that exercise when I describe it, but there's a lot more that you can like do with it. This is super bright. Hang on. But I really feel like what's sticking out to me was imbuing the message with emotions. And then imagining a warm connection between you two. I feel like what I've been getting a lot from my guides when I'm coaching is they're trying to teach me to combine a lot of the clairs. Like I've definitely done a lot of like, hey, this is how you separate out all the clairs. But I don't know if you guys watched my pick a card reading, the one where I did all 6 clairs. If you go to the Claire Aliens and Claire Gustance one of that, I just feel like I've not forgotten that reading and my guides kind of combining and talking about like different ways to use your clairs. And so I really want to go beyond just like the basics. Anyway, I'm going to rant. Let's see. First live with you. Yay. What were you going to say about your grandfather earlier? Oh, yes. And then we'll jump into individual readings. No one donated, so I'm not like in a rush. But so this maybe it was a couple weeks ago, I can't remember what I was doing, but I remembered getting a hit from my grandfather. And he was showing me this old Mexican restaurant that we used to go to as a family. And it was kind of like, oh, you should go there. Like, that's kind of the message. And I haven't been there in years. I had totally forgotten about it. It's way up north from me, like way up in Greeley, Colorado, which is where I was born and raised. Yay. If you know Greeley, that's an embarrassing thing to say. But then let's see, I forgot about it. I think maybe I got it. Sorry, this wind is like scary. I just hear things crashing all around me. What was I saying? But I got that message, totally forgot about it. And then I think it was a couple nights ago, I was laying in bed, I was meditating to fall asleep. My grandpa comes through loud and clear right when you're in that in-between state of like almost falling asleep, not quite falling asleep. I feel like that's like one of your most intuitive moments that you also have like the least control over, which a lot of people try to get hits in that tiny, tiny range. And I always say that that's the worst because it's hard to remember, it's hard to control it, and then you might forget it because you fall asleep. But then he came in again a couple nights ago and reminded me, he's like, oh yeah, that Mexican restaurant. And he was like showing me memories of us going there. And he was like, you all should go there like as a family. It's been such a long time. And like, I kind of got the emotions like that it was his favorite restaurant, which when I thought about it, I was like, I thought his favorite restaurant was this other place. He really liked Cinzetti's. If you've been to Colorado, it's a shithole. Don't go there. But I just happened to be seeing my father the next day, and my father is his son. And I told him, I was like, oh yeah, Papa told me we should go to that Mexican restaurant. And I was like, I don't even know what it's called. I couldn't remember anything. And I was like, all Papa said was it was his favorite. And then I proceeded to visually explain what this restaurant looked like. And I was like, well, there wasn't very many windows. I was just basically describing the intuitive hits that I got. And I knew I was supposed to tell my dad because I don't know where this place is. and I kind of was like, oh, there's no windows. There's a very like small kind of hallway to get in. It's very cramped. And then there's like a bunch of half walls, and they have like sections of rooms with like tables. And I told him that like the chips, there was something about the chips. I don't know. They were good. We ate a lot of them. And my dad just like instantly knew. He knew where it was. And he's like, oh, it's this place called Farmers Inn or something. And he knew what city it was. And he was like, oh, yeah, that was Papa's favorite place. And so I pull it up on Google Maps, and exactly like what I pictured in my head. I haven't been to this place since I was a little kid. And it was really cool just to have that experience because I forgot about that place. He told me to go there. And then literally this weekend, we're going to be up in that area. And so I feel like he was coming in with the perfect timing to be like, hey, you're up here anyway. You should all get together. I don't know if we actually will, but that was the story I was going to share. Maybe it's not that exciting, but there you go. Let's see. Hello, Harlem, cow country. Yep. Born and raised. Woohoo. I can check the weather for you in the neighborhood. You're a bit of a weather nerd. That's fun. Feel free. You guys ever astral projected? And that is something I feel like, Jordan, you asked me about ages ago that I still like have not researched. That's so cool. Are people able to see the spirit's images on a blank white paper? Yes, Angelica, that's a form of scrying. And so scrying, like if you're looking in a crystal ball, that's why people like looking at crystal balls, is because they actually literally see something in the crystal ball. Whereas like when I talk about clairvoyance, that's in your mind's eye. It's kind of like in your head that you're visualizing it. It's almost like it's superimposed, like you're seeing it overlaid on your reality in front of you. But you can scry with pieces of like black felt. You can also scry with mirrors, like black mirrors that don't reflect anything. And I was learning in school, we were also given a white piece of paper just to see what worked best for us. We tried all of those things. And the white paper worked best for me versus like all the black stuff. But some people it didn't work for them. And some people really have a hard time seeing things literally, and they really need to focus more on in their mind. I thought it was crazy because I see a woman and 3 men. No, that's definitely like a form of scrying. All right. I try to scry. I tried black balls, black mirrors, blue crystal, water in a bowl. I never see it. Like ever. I don't either at Lunchbox. Like when I'm looking at it literally, but some people do. And that's the thing here on my channel too, is that I give you guys everything. I try to give you everything, even the things that didn't work for me. And what I almost got on here and did like a little rant because I've been getting a lot of nasty comments lately from people who try my exercises and it doesn't work. And then they come after me as if I am responsible for their psychic abilities not working. And I will say, I'm not responsible for you guys' psychic abilities. I'm here to help, but like, I draw the line at, I don't handhold. You guys can set up a coaching session with me. Totally fine. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go on that rant. All right, let's do individual readings. All right, so jumping into it, again, if you want a reading and you don't want to wait, you can get to the top of the list, and that is just through a donation, either through a Venmo or Super Chat. And I will be sporadically pulling some of these cards and just giving you guys random tips, maybe an example of like when it worked for me. And then I think we'll end with speed readings. I think in order to scry, you have to get into a light to moderate transfer you to see beyond your physical sight. Yeah, I do think, to Jordan's point of like the environment you're in probably also needs to be like super bright or super dark to make it a little bit better. I even put a crystal ball in a water bowl and spun it. And that could be, getting into like a block, maybe you have a block that says, oh, I can't see things literally. And because of that, I'm not psychic or something. And then, that could be part of it as well. That's not your fault. They're just not doing it right. Or they want to give up and do it for a minute and then blame me for it not working. It helps to light a candle when scrying so the light and shadows can play with the images. Ooh, that's a good idea, Taylor. I might have to try that. That's a great idea. I haven't heard of that one. That would make sense. Whoa. Okay. Individual readings. I'm so distracted. Why am I so distracted? I feel like I don't want to do the readings. I just want to like talk and talk and talk. I'm in a talky mood tonight. All right. Let's do a guessing game. If you can guess the animal that I'm thinking of, then you'll get a reading. Ooh, I see images on a cup of coffee without drinking it. That's basically like tea leaf reading in a way. Thank you, Jordan. I'll get to you, Jordan, here in a second. Let me just make sure I don't miss. Francesca, you got it. It was lion. So Francesca, let me know what your question is. I am going to do Jordan first just because Jordan donated. But I will get back to you, Francesca. Oh my gosh, oh, don't get blown away. It's like bad. We have like fire warnings out right now because it's dry and it's whatchamacallit? Windy. All right. So Jordan wants to know any messages from any guides or deities that are for my highest good. Put this guy. Got too many decks in front of me. Oh, that's my member reading. Cheyenne is the closest one. So we're going to go Jordan, then what was your name? Whoever got lion, Francesca, and then Cheyenne. You get the member reading. So while you're waiting, throw up the questions. Oh, I think I need to turn down my heater. I'm getting it too toasty in here. Okay, so for Jordan, all right. So Jordan, I got first building blocks and then to be fair reversed. And so building blocks is just understanding that right now you're I don't want to say you're going through it, but you're kind of you're laying the foundation. And sometimes we want to go steps beyond that, but we really need to understand that the foundation needs to be laid before we can even get there. And right now, I feel like you're not being as fair with yourself as you could be. This is kind of a card that comes in to say, like, be gentle with yourself. Like, you're allowed time. You're allowed to take time off. You're allowed breaks. You're allowed days that things don't go well. You're allowed days where you just sit on the couch and you don't do anything. Like, I'm definitely getting this energy of, like, don't worry about being perfect all the time. Or not even being perfect. Like, I don't feel like that's what you're trying to be. But it's almost this energy of being gentle with yourself because things take time. And you are allowed to be like a work in progress. And I did ask like what energy you need to have in order to kind of move through this. And I got femme fatale. And I think the biggest thing that I'm getting with this is to not be the shadow side of this, which is kind of like when we talk about femme fatale in books or stories or movies, it's always the person who sits around and waits for somebody to rescue them. Maybe you want somebody else to come in and take care of things for you. I will just read it. It says attachment to money and power. I don't feel like this is you, but I feel like maybe there's a part of you that just wants everything to come in and be perfect, and maybe someone or something will just come in and like make all of your problems go away. And it's more about that the energy that you need is that, you know, you're not dependent on other people. You are fully dependent on yourself when it comes to your energy, your life. And maybe you're already there, but this is just kind of like, hey, continue this energy. It's very important. It's important for you to look at these situations and understand that nobody's going to build these building blocks but you. And so let me pull. I'm going to turn off my heater. Hang on. It is so toasty. I'm going to cook myself. All right. Could just open the door, but then like might get blasted away. Okay. I'm going to ask if there's anything else you need to know. Maybe about connecting with your higher self. Celebration. I feel like this is kind of similar energy of like, celebrate where you are. Celebrate where you've come. You know, don't focus so much on what you don't have or where you're not yet. It's all about celebrating the little successes in between. And I am so bad at this myself. But ever since I started giving myself those little like celebrations, like literally, I wrote on my, like I have my channel milestones over here of like, when I hit 1,000 subs, when I hit 3,000. And today I got to put on there that I got my first like package from a fan. I shouldn't call it a fan, but like a follower. I got something in the mail from like one of you guys. I got to put that on my milestone list today. And so celebrating that, you know, maybe I just celebrate it by putting it up on the wall, or I could like go inside and have a glass of wine. I don't have wine. I wish I did. But, you know, it's like celebrating the small stuff and not just doing it with your spirituality, but with anything that makes you feel self-empowered. This is crazy, but I feel like I should refer you to Chloe Taylor. She just did a podcast today that came out. And it's, she called it something about like how to be that girl, even if you're not a girl necessarily. I think that podcast still applies, but like the energy behind that podcast that I listened to was kind of like, don't worry about like living up to everyone else's standards. Focus on you and where you want to be and build it from there. Okay. They're telling me to pull cards that I haven't pulled out. They're like, go get the unicorn deck. Anything else for Jordan? And then I'm going to move on. Ace of Swords. You're being given a bunch of ideas by your guides on kind of how to handle this. And so maybe you're like hearing it, but you're dismissing it. Trust those intuitive hits that you're getting, especially when it comes to like new creative ideas about how to go about things. Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. All right. Can you do a video on it, please? Thank you. Can you remind me what I'm talking about, Angelica? Sorry. And say, can you do a video on this? Because I will already forget by the next time I find it, your comment. You got a second tarot deck? Woo! Which one did you get, Silly Rabbit? All right, so I'm looking for Francesca's question. Yeah, scroll. Love reading would be nice. I'm thinking about starting to date this summer. Okay, so I'm going to do Francesca, and then Lunchbox, since you donated, I'll come back to you. And then Cheyenne, just to prioritize those donations. Love reading. I'm thinking about starting to date this summer. Perfect. I knew we were going to get like dating questions tonight, so I pulled out this deck. Ooh, okay. I think you are definitely going to find somebody. Like they're already like, tell her Tell her you're going to know when to see this person. Okay. Okay. So I asked what energy you need to be in to kind of attract this person if you are going to kind of open yourself up into the dating realm. And I got liberator, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Honestly, like I feel like this is you liberating yourself and really just being like the most free, authentic version of yourself. Like this person, when they come across you, they need to see this version of you. This is the version where you do the things that you want to do. You've released negative thoughts around yourself. Like you're living, I don't want to say like your best life, because if you're not in that space, it doesn't mean you won't attract somebody. But there's something about being in this energy of being like your most true, authentic version of yourself that's going to be attractive to other people. And then I'm also hearing too with that, it's like, there's no surprises. You're telling that person like, this is me, this is who I want to be. It's almost like they're saying like, have a clean slate. Like this is your chance to kind of define who you are going to be in this relationship. Don't hold back, decide who it is that you want to be in a relationship first. Free yourself from any of those old habits or patterns that don't match that new version of you, because that's who you want to be anyway. So why not be clear about that up front? I hope that makes sense. And then I asked who's in that comes into your life, like what you should be looking for, like something significant about their energy. And I got gossip. But I don't feel like this is the negative side of it. I don't think this is somebody who is a gossip. I feel like it's light side of this. And that's kind of somebody who doesn't gossip. Somebody who doesn't give into that. They are considerate of the feelings of others. They honor trust. So maybe it's somebody that comes across and is very like trustworthy, very considerate of other people. They're not like a gossip. Like maybe you are around a lot of people that are like this, or maybe you might get somebody coming across your path who you're like, oh, I'm interested in them. Is this them? And if they're like a bad, I don't know, I don't like the word gossip, but like the energy that I'm getting is like they care too much about what everyone else thinks and they badmouth other people. That's a red flag. Let's avoid those people. And then I asked, how will you know like what's a sign from the universe? And I got house. But I don't feel like this card always comes up and it makes me laugh because it's like, oh, the house is sold. And there's like dice and a businessman handshaking and this like sold. It's like a, what do you call it? Like a Photoshop nightmare right here. But I kind of feel like this is going to be very unique. Like they might talk about a house. Like they might talk about, oh yeah, I just helped my mom sell her house. Like it's going to be very random and weird. You could just meet at somebody's house, but I feel like there's going to be something little, like a little tidbit from your guides just to get that light bulb going so that you're like, oh, maybe this is that person. Awesome. That was for Francesca. Okay, I'm going to jump back up to Lunchbox really quick and then Cheyenne. I'm waiting on a very important document to be returned. It is super late. When might I expect it? I am feeling pretty soon, Lunchbox. And they're showing me, I had a very same thing happen. I was going through this application process for something with like my house. It took like 6 months. And then it was like, as soon as like Aries season came around, it was like, bam, heard from them finally. So I kind of feel like it's going to be this like bam energy of when it happens. Like I feel like within the week. I could be wrong. Things could change. But let me pull a card just to see. I'm going to use the tarot because you can use the tarot suits and the numbers on the cards to ask timing questions. Then I'll also just pull one other card on like, how can you make it manifest? The sun. You're going to get it soon and it's going to be good news. Like if I freaking pulled the sun card, like, please come back and tell me if I'm wrong. I feel really good about that. Also, doesn't this look like bacon? Every time I'm like, why is there bacon in this? But the Sun card, okay, so I should say this. When you do timing questions and you pull a major arcana card, it is a message of like it will happen instantly as soon as this is solved. And this is about like happiness, celebration, fun. So maybe Lunchbox, like forget about it for a day, go out, have some fun, like do something fun in the middle of this week, like enjoy yourself. And then it's like, bam, that energy will come through. Maybe you've been stuck in that energy of like, oh, it's not going to work. It's not coming. Like you're constantly ruminating on the negatives. But as soon as you make the positive, maybe eat some bacon. Just kidding. Then I feel like it's going to click. But this is a good card to get, the Major Arcana card, because it's basically saying it's on you. So maybe just a change in your energy around the situation will make it happen quickly. All right. Thank you, Lunchbox. Hello, Laura. I caught you live. Hello, Patty. Yay. Okay, sorry. I'm scrolling down, looking for Cheyenne. I'm very excited about taking my... Oh, she's asking a question. Just a general reading for anything I need to know right now. Okay. I think I'm reading Cheyenne and then I'm caught up. I just saw like gardening around you, Cheyenne. Like, I don't know if you're like thinking about like planting something, even if it's just like one plant. Like your guides are like, go for it. Ooh. Hang on. What is this about? I feel like, Cheyenne, you're an Aries, aren't you? Oh, wow. You got great cards. Holy crap. Jeez, Cheyenne. Okay. Whoa. Cheyenne, I'm pretty sure you're an Aries, and I'm not saying that because it's intuitive. I think I just like saw that one time on Instagram, and I know I shouldn't be looking at you guys, but I like you, and I look at your guys' stuff sometimes. And I pulled the Yang card, and this is all about action, getting things done. And I immediately thought Aries energy, like whatever. I feel like your guys are trying to tell you right now that you are in like perfect manifesting mode. Anything that you want right now, the Magician is literally the master manifester. Like he has... Fun facts. He's got a sword right here, a wand, a cup, and a pentacle. That's all four of the suits. And he's pointing at the ground and he's pointing up above. So he's saying, I bring whatever it is from above and I can manifest it down here on this earthly plane. And I have all the tools available to me. You have all the ideas. You have your intuition. You have good ideas, you have the passion, you have the intuition, and you have like the practical like backing to make it happen. And so I feel like your guys are kind of telling you like continue on, like when you feel energized, when you feel like gung-ho about something, go for it, because you're just in a really great spot right now. And you might have to like check and make sure that you're on the right path, because the Chariot is about somebody who just is constantly making sure that they're on the right track. This is just making sure that your intention is clear. Like, what is it you're trying to manifest? If you don't know the answer to that right now, get clear on that and make sure that as you're going about, with this energy, that you're not just like hustling to hustle. You have a clear idea or goal or like a why in mind. And your why might be like, why am I doing this? Because sometimes we can get into this energy and we can be trying to manifest something, but it's actually like not clear or not what we want. And then we manifest it and we're burnt out and we just hate everything. And like, we're like, how did I get here? I needed to have been a lot clearer. But to me, Cheyenne, this is just like, they're telling you, you've got like the world at your fingertips right now is like what I feel like. And as long as you're kind of going after it and believing that you can manifest it, I think you got it. I think you are in like, and the fact that I saw gardening is almost like plant the seeds so that you can expect that growth. My husband wants to ask a relationship question. You can do that. You have to ask yourself if you want to hear it. Just kidding. I do not have PayPal anymore. Like I do, but I would have to give out my like personal email and I have to keep that like private. Sorry. Oh, seeing images and letters on top of the black coffee with drinking it video. Oh, I would have to learn a little bit about like tea leaves and reading, but heck, why not? I could always just like practice. I will tell you guys that in my Sabbath video that's coming out, I did an egg divination reading. And by the way, that is coming very soon. And I do see the $20 donation. Thank you. I'm catching up on my chat. But my Sabbath video, I was like, oh, film all 8 Sabbaths and put them in one video. And then I started filming and I was like, you know what? I think this is going to be too long. Maybe I'll do half of them, half and half, and do 2 videos. And then I started to edit them. And basically the first 2 Sabbaths is like almost an hour long. So you're going to get 2, 2, 2, and 2. So you're going to get 4 different Sabbath videos this year. Basically, this first one will have been Imbolc and Spring Equinox, and then you're going to get Beltane and Summer Equinox, and then Lugensta and Fall Equinox, and then, or wait, I don't know if I'm getting it right. And then I think it's Halloween and I don't know. I'm splitting it up into quarters. That's all you need to know. So you're going to get to see it way sooner than normal. And I'm also really trying to up my game as a vlogger. So I'm trying to make them more cinematic. I hope you guys like them. I'm like super enjoying making them. Anyway, okay. Hello, Terlin. Terlin was a donation. Okay. Hang on. Yes, 6 months too. Oh, interesting lunchbox. That might have been maybe a good synchronicity to help you maybe understand eggs and bacon card. Go get some eggs and bacon and it will happen. Mostly just because I love eggs and bacon. Watch. If that's like the recipe to manifesting what you want, there'll be no eggs and bacon left. You have an Aries Venus and your Taurus Sun. I know a little bit more to sort of understand that. All right. Thank you, Terlin. Thank you for letting me catch up. Get clear and don't doubt it. You got this. All right, Terlin. I'm going to first pull a card on what do we need to talk about for Terlin. Can you guys hear the wind? I know I keep asking, but then I forget to check the comments. Ooh, okay. So first I ask, okay, what are we talking about with Terlin? And I pulled the priest card. So we're talking about spirituality. Facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And the shadow side of this card is violating the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. I'm going to say this, Terlin, like, no, not saying that all this is you, but they are telling me to share this because I feel like it might be more than one person here tonight. And I did already kind of like touch on this. One of the things that I talk about in my course that I don't think I've ever talked about on my YouTube channel is how when you're doing kind of like intuitive work, it's very easy to fall into this like, ooh, I'm the resident psychic. Everyone comes to me. And there's this kind of nice feeling of like, oh, everyone comes to Lauren for their psychic needs, you know, within like your realm. Like maybe it's your friends, your business, like the people that know you do it. There's kind of like this, I don't know, like an ego stroke of like, oh yeah, they're all going to come to me with their problems. And then maybe you might get a little bit jealous if they go see another psychic. But one of the things my teacher always coached me on was, and again, they're like telling me, Terlin, this is like not a whole lot you. This is a lot of like other people I feel like that are watching. And I feel like they're also saying I don't talk about it enough in my channel. But my coach taught me to not be that person, not get into this ego of like, oh, I'm gonna answer all the psychic questions. I'm gonna be the resident psychic. Everyone's gonna come to me about me. And it's kind of like putting yourself on a pedestal and saying that you're better than everyone else. And I see this all the time in psychic communities. And like, I'll go visit little metaphysical stores. Sometimes I'll go to classes, and you can tell those people because they have this ego about them of like, I'm the top dog in my community, so everyone worships me. So, I'm going to treat everyone like they're less than. And so this is kind of saying that priests don't do that. Priests are, they're wise with their time and their energy and what they give out, but they don't do it for the sake of like stroking their own ego. Obviously, a lot of priests do this. A lot of psychics, everybody does this, but it's really about embodying that energy. That's a shadow side to that card. Again, Terralyn, I don't feel like that's a whole lot you, but I feel like they really wanted me to share that. So that's what we're talking about, though, is kind of like this role in your life. So I'm going to ask, what do we need to know about this role in your life? Okay. I actually, Terralyn, feel like this has been done to you. All sorts of reverse cards. So I got mending in reverse. I'll just turn them upright, though. I got clean it up in reverse, co-create, and round and round. So like what I'm feeling with this is like the mending part, maybe there is a little bit of you that might kind of get into that energy. Again, I don't feel like that's what this reading is about. I feel like maybe this was done to you. Like maybe when you learned about the psychic stuff or, just spirituality in general and your kind of place in it, I feel like you maybe had a lot of people that abused this position, and maybe not in a bad way, but maybe you just are following people that aren't the most ethical. And so you paying attention to it, I actually feel like you already do pay attention to it pretty well. And because of that, like that's one of your strengths, or it can be one of your strengths that you should lean towards. And I say that it can because I did get clean it up. So I feel like there is like some forgiving, some releasing of that past that needs to be done. And I feel like it maybe has influenced like how you do that spiritual work in whatever way. Maybe it's just like mental blocks. Maybe it's that you kind of have taken on a little bit of those like attributes because of who you were taught by. But just like cleaning up anywhere that you feel like you can do kind of some mental decluttering or releasing or forgiving, I feel like is what they're talking about. Because I do feel like it's inhibiting your ability to co-create. Like, and it's coming from like I don't deserve to co-create is what I'm getting. And I feel like you go round and round. This card is about like feeling that you can't break that cycle. Maybe you can't like take your abilities or your spirituality to that next level. And I feel like they're trying to come through and maybe just touch on this. Like, I feel like it's almost like a block or something that needs to be released. Let me ask. I feel like I'm like wrong though. I want to see what you're saying. Yep, just recently a cousin died. His spouse would not leave me alone. Was asking me to reach out to him. I'm trying to be supportive, but can be too much. Oh, yes. Here, I'm just going to skip to the bottom so then I can see you. You're welcome, Cheyenne. I hope my neighbors don't mind the smoke. I have your business one. Can I send there? Yes, if it's my Lauren at company name, if I emailed you at that, yeah, because we emailed each other that way, then yes. Just tell me if it goes through because I don't know if it'll send me a notification. Thank you for reminding me. You are like the only person that has that. Yes, I can hear the wind. Hey everyone, if you are just jumping in, I am doing Terralyn's reading and then we'll open it back up to individual readings after that. Depending on the time, we might jump into speed readings. Let's see. Lauren, it happens with therapists too. It happens with everybody in every industry. Like, that is like a total thing. Even in my film school, God, the power that people would get from being like the top dog. It's just, I mean, that's like, it's not industry specific. That's just like a human thing that we all have to like go through. You know what I mean? Yes, I felt that way in my mediumship class. Yes. So that's why I don't talk about it enough, but like, I try really hard not to be that person. I know that I fall prey to it too, just like anybody else, but let's see. Anyway, let me finish Tara-Lynn's reading. Okay, I just wanted to get down in case Tara-Lynn said anything. Okay. And when you're saying that too, it could be, even in this shadow attribute of the priest, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. I'm, kind of putting it through the context of like, oh, look at me. But you could easily be on the other side of like the priest who gives too much and doesn't take care of himself. Maybe you're not setting those boundaries with people. So maybe the mending and cleaning it up is like setting boundaries with other people and being very clear on what you do and don't do. But again, there's something that's like inhibiting your co-creation. Not saying you can't manifest, but it's like when you call on your guides to ask for help, there's a part of you that feels like you aren't deserving or that you don't trust that it's going to work because of all of this. And then you just feel like you're going around and around in circles, and it's almost like you're questioning your own spirituality. You're like, are my guides even looking out for me? So I'm going to ask what you can do, if anything, to kind of work through this energy. 2 major arcana cards. I got Judgment and Wheel of Fortune. Judgment, this is like giving yourself a second chance, like looking at it like a second life. Like, don't worry about all the mistakes that you had in the past, or maybe how you were taught or not taught. Try to look at it as like a fresh, clean start. That's and not judge yourself for it. I'm literally lining these cards up right now as if I'm gonna pick a card. I'm like doing it perfectly. I didn't used to do that before I filmed pick a card videos. Okay, and then the Wheel of Fortune card. I feel like this card is so interesting because I always get so totally different like messages from it. But this to me is saying that like you're still learning, you're still in this process. You like don't beat yourself up over it. Like I feel like that's like the theme of tonight is like don't beat yourself up, be gentle with yourself. You are not going to be like this perfect priest right off the bat. You will learn as you go. And I feel like the outcome of the Wheel of Fortune is usually like a good one. It's usually saying like you're going to be able to get on top of this. You're going to be able to handle it. So at least there's some peace in knowing that. And let me pull one final card for Tara-Lynn. Anything else she needs to know that I might be missing? Doorways. Oh, okay. I just got this massive download. I feel like what they're trying to say is like, you are kind of keeping yourself at this spot with your spirituality because it's the boundaries. Maybe you're being over, like boundaries are too big. Maybe they're too small. Whatever it is, like the expectation that you have with other people needs to kind of be cleaned up. Maybe you're giving too much of yourself. Maybe you're again being like a little bit egotistical about it. Again, I don't feel like that's quite so much, but I do feel like there's always that part of us. So I'm not like ignoring that message. And it's kind of saying that as soon as you close those doorways and stop saying no to that energy, you're finally going to be able to open up these other doorways and move forward. So you don't feel like you're going round and round and round and round. And I feel like this is kind of like going to take you to the next level of like, I feel like it's your personal spirituality. And then therefore, how you give back to others. I feel like I become a better reader the more I invest in my own personal spirituality because I have a better connection with my guides. I have, I'm more practiced with my psychic ability. And then it's like I'm able to read better and give people better stuff because I'm more in alignment with myself. And I feel like as soon as you can kind of say to that energy, nope, I'm done with this. I'm moving on. I'm claiming this for myself now, and really putting yourself in charge, but in a humble way. I don't know why they're emphasizing that so much. I feel like there's a few people in here that need to hear that, but I feel like it's going to open up the doorway to a new level of you kind of connecting and channeling that energy that's coming through. Because I think you're a reader, aren't you? Maybe you're not. I don't know why I think that, but awesome. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for the donation. That was super awesome of you. Ooh. Something metallic just fell over and banged next to my little shed. Get confused with other feelings and sensations and confuse them with mine. Is this a thing? Yes, that's definitely empathic and clairsentient. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that one, because that's emotions, feelings, sensations. That's all under the category of clairsentience. And that clairsentience is hard because a lot of times you do think that's yourself because you are feeling those things. And we are such like touch based, like we trust our feelings and what we can touch more than like our imagination. So that, when those hits come through, we might confuse them more often because we take them as, being ours, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not sure, Angelica, I'm not sure if I understand. Have you ever seen window blinds with my eyes open? Closed a little bit. The blind, I don't know. Of course. Thank you, Terlin. I give a lot. I always feel like it's my responsibility to share what I get if it's given to me. Yeah, that's one hard thing about it is, drawing the line with yourself of like, I don't have to give these messages to everybody. I pick up things all the time, but I just have to tell myself, like, unless they ask, I can't do it. Not saying that you do that, but, just think about the energetic boundaries that you said of like, oh, okay, Spirit, you can give me messages on anyone, anytime, anywhere, and I'm going to deliver it. And it can become a lot. So that makes sense why that priest card was coming through. I feel like that totally like fits into that energy. Awesome. I am going to do, let's do speed readings because I want to wrap up soon because I started late. Oh, unless we got a donation. Hang on. No, not yet. Okay. So yeah, let's do speed readings for the rest of the evening because I want to wrap up pretty soon. And we'll end there. I still have it's connected with Korea. Yeah, well, if the PayPal works, I'm happy to still do it. All right, so how speed readings work? Throw up your question. They're going to be a lot shorter answers. Again, like they might not be as accurate because I'm going so quickly. So just know that. Jeffrey, I'm ready. And yeah, just kind of remember, take them with a grain of salt because I'm reading so many people so quickly. I'm not going deep to get that psychic information. So yeah, and if I skip over you, you can feel free to ask the question again, ask it more than once. The point for me is to do claircognizance and practice fast reading and not really think and just answer. I'm going to be very detailed on this one. People are going to know my business. Yeah, and the shorter questions, probably the quicker it is for me to answer. Okay. Speed reading mode. Like black lines. I'm not sure if I've experienced that, Angelica. Not saying that that's not psychic. Oh, my back hurts. Okay. Ask me again, Lori. Okay. Will I ever be in a relationship one day? Yes. Okay. I'll try to get more elaborate as I go. My career goals be met in a year's time. Yes, plus like 3 months. Yes, plus 3 months. Almost. You're like almost be there. What do I need to know right now? I'm just like seeing initials, Lori. Every time that I see your question, like I'm seeing initials. I don't know. I feel like it's a person trying to come through, like a family member. Should I accept less than a 70? I'm hearing silly rabbit like, yes, you can, but ask for something else in exchange. Like, okay, that's fine, but give me more of this. Give me more like time off or something. What should I focus my time on? I heard you. Taking care of yourself. Girl, won't let me send more. Oh, I'm sorry, Jenna. Hey, I'm doing good. We're doing speed reading, so feel free to drop a question. Sorry, Jana. I would just like, I would do it on the honor system, but I don't want people to think that like I'll do that all the time. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be like, oh, well, why can't I do that? What are Johan's next actions towards me? I just got something a little bit more aggressive, Jaswinder. J R. One of those, Lori. Sorry, Jaswinder, not in a good way. Like, yes, okay to ask me the same question. This is also a good test for you guys for asking better questions because depending on the answers, you might be like, all right, I want a different answer. You know what I mean? Was the 2 doves I saw? I just heard test, silly rabbit. Like, yes, that's what it was there to make you do, but it was more of like a test of should you do that or should you not? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling no, Kiana, but there's like something more there. There's like, there could be things that could be done, but I feel like it's more because that person will not reach out themselves. I don't want you to lose money. Angelica, something about dreaming, doing something that you did when you were like a child. I just saw a mermaid. How does my husband feel about me right now? I mean, you could ask his question here, I guess. Why not? How does my husband feel about me right now? Better. Like things are getting better and there's hope there. Guys! They just like, I feel like they matched your energy and they're like, what? Like, what do you want? Change careers, do psychic work on the side. Jeffrey's like a yes, but there's a long way to go. I don't want that to discourage you. Thank you, Jasmine. Let me know what your question is, and then we'll jump back to speed readings. Oh, that's for Jasmine. No, Melissa. No. You are like, you're supposed to be doing that. I don't know about permanently, but okay. Really quick, doing donated reading back. I'm so kind and nice. I was checking. It felt like when I was originally getting it, it felt like he was like grumpy and maybe you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So your question of next action might be very literal. I think that I was just kind of getting like, some people have bad days and it was almost like you're talking to him at the wrong, it's kind of like this energy of like read the room, like he might have had a bad day and you're trying to like go up and be like, oh, let's talk about this, and he's like, so I think that's what I'm getting. he is a grumpy pants. That's his name. That's funny. Let me pull some more cards. Well, this one did. Oh, that's his name. I did have this one fall out, and this one is a really good card because it's like, look at how happy and bright the colors are. Like, this is somebody who's following their passions and kind of like looking out onto the horizon of like, what do I want? So, Jasminder, like, your guys are definitely saying like, hey, what do you want out of this relationship? Like, if you're wanting this to go further, like, what are you visualizing? Are you visualizing something good or something bad? And it's more about setting the intention of like what you want to manifest so that the universe can bring in that matching energy, and maybe it's not him. Maybe, don't be specific on like, oh, it's got to be this guy, just be like, this is the relationship I want. This is what I want. And then, maybe you end up finding somebody like that matches that energy perfectly. That's very similar, that reciprocates in a better way. Yeah, I don't know, because I got bully. Like, I feel like the grumpy pants thing is a way to kind of keep you at bay. Like, I'm definitely getting this energy from him of like, he knows you're interested. He doesn't want you to go too far. So he's kind of like putting a hand out to you. And I think he's hiding behind this like grumpy pants energy to like make it funny and not make it like this weird or like mean thing. But I do feel like he kind of, I don't want to say takes advantage of you, but it just is kind of like this. He doesn't care very much about like your feelings or emotions. And that's why, this coming through of like, what is it that you want? I feel like if you got clearer on that, you might actually realize, oh, this doesn't quite match. But he flirts. I'm a bully. Well, and maybe that's also just a message of that could be getting in your way of getting that relationship, being that like, there's something about that energy of like silly, like playfulness that's kind of just a little bit like, I don't know. I don't want to say hurtful, but like sometimes it is, because you're like, can't we just like be nice? Why do we have to be like this fake mad at each other sometimes? Like, maybe that's what's kind of getting in the way, if that makes sense. He hides his feelings towards me. Yeah, I would start there. Like, focus on maybe removing parts of this from your relationship, because maybe he feels like he can't be vulnerable with you because of that. And then really be clear on your intention of like, where do you want a relationship to go? And maybe it is that as you make those changes, it becomes clear that he is interested, or maybe it's somebody else. All right. Thank you, Jasminder. Laura, hi, Lauren. Can I get a message from my higher self? Yes. I'm going to pull these cards as well. Okay. So this message is coming through. I got artist, and I feel like this is something you need to know about yourself. And then I got companion, and I feel like this is something that you need to utilize more, is what I'm hearing. I'm just going to ask. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do Laura, and then we'll jump back to speed readings. All right. Honestly, Laura, I feel like your guides are like cheering you on with this reading, because the artist card is like, hey, you're like doing things that you are enjoying doing. Like you're following the things that are lighting you up and you're expressing it. Maybe it's just with yourself. Like, it doesn't mean you have to like make art and put it in a museum, but this is you expressing your life through means, could be like actual art. It could be, by speaking, by teaching, or just like going about your life and being like a good model for other people. but I feel like you're really in tune with yourself and your intuition and just kind of like I feel like it's your purpose, you know, and I kind of am getting that this is work related. Um and I feel like they're wanting to say like keep at it. Sometimes you doubt yourself in that area, but you're really good at doing that. You're good at I'll read this card, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. And I feel like this next card that I asked about was, or I didn't ask questions. I just pulled cards and then I asked what the question was. And this is companion. And I feel like this is something you shy away from that you could probably embrace more. Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. I feel like you've probably kept other people at a distance. I feel like maybe you don't have a whole lot of trust in a lot of other people. Like it has betrayal, misusing confidences down here. But I feel like this is like one of your bigger challenges in life is to understand that people are here to help you and not hurt you. Like you've just gotten more of the latter. And so it's making you not as trustworthy as you could be. But I feel like this is related to this, you know, whether it's work or something else. I feel like this will help you continue to like move forward and kind of get into like a new dimension of this. And then I just pulled some other cards just to see where you're at. And I think that the reason why you're doing so well at this is because you have a clear vision of what you want your life to be. And so I think this is coming in as a good reminder of like, hey, when you've got a clear intention, when you know what you want, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to manifest things. And that's exactly where you're at right now. Queen of Pentacles. This is like doing the inner work, especially around like work, job, money, career. Like you are bringing it into fruition. You're doing the inner work so that it can finally come to fruition. So this is kind of a message of like, keep going, especially with this future card being the Knight of Wands. This is about movement, action, putting your passions and your excitement into action. If you feel like you're just not resonating with this and you're like, I don't even know what that energy feels like, I feel like the book Big Magic is my absolute favorite book on this kind of energy. But doing like what lights you up, that's the energy that you're in right now, and you're doing such a good job of it. And I think that's why you're feeling so good, at least in this area of life, I should say. Alrighty. Thank you, Laura. Yay! Yes! Woohoo! Okay, back to speed readings. Let's do it. And maybe only like 10 more minutes of this. I started too late. Oh, and I never even stopped to talk about these cards. Oh, well. I love mermaids. I think that's why it was through. It was like something about your childhood and connecting with the energy of mermaids. I don't know what you were asking about, but there's something there. Can I know what he's thinking about me? Ooh, I kind of get this like weirded out energy. Like, what are they doing? Like towards you? I could be wrong, but it's more like, why did they make that move? Why did they say that thing? Silly Rabbit, I heard yes, but like be prepared for like up and down. Because now you're having to take on the energy of like having to find your clients, whereas before that wasn't really like part of your job role. You basically just added that to your plate, if that makes sense. Oh, well, I'm excited. All right, speed readings. Ask me your questions. I will say that I'm about to do a video next Monday on this deck of cards. I want to use it, but I need to keep it like pristine for the video. It's an Oracle deck that's also a D&D gaming deck. So I'm interviewing the artist who sent me these. I'm doing it on my husband's channel, but I will share it to my like socials and my community tab if you're interested. How many family members? I just heard 3. But that could be just like literally right now, Jana. It might not be reflective of like all the time. What do my guides say is the purpose of my gold tarot deck versus ooh? I just heard like basics with the gold tarot deck. Like I'm getting like the energy of like learning and just understanding the tarot. Paulina, I'm getting that is more for like you personally to ask questions about you and what you want to do. Almost like to not even like read other people with it. Like that's, the gold tarot is to get like, okay, I need to understand and memorize. That should be your base deck. And then the Paulina one is like, okay, I'm feeling connected. I want to know something cool and crazy about myself. I'm going to pull the Paulina. Like it's like this more magical energy. Like I'm also seeing you like using it outside. Not that you have to every time. Laura, I just heard Claire Aliens, but I wonder if that would even be right. I want to know now too. Janet, ask me again. Like literally, I feel like I got like a Claire that doesn't even exist. Ask me again. It was like I got deep breathing, like a Claire of deep breathing, like breathing in the energy of spirit and like getting information that way. Reminds me of Reiki. How does my mom feel about my husband? She's not disappointed. She's like, he's a good guy. What? What should I be focusing on? I just saw reading, Lori. Reading, like gathering, both like reading for fun, like fiction, but also maybe like learning new skills or getting new knowledge. I feel like that's the place that you're gonna like get a bunch of new ideas and maybe new hobbies and just like interest. I feel like you have a stack of books that you want to read. Maybe not physically, but like reading. Jana must be alien. Did you say Claire Aliens? Yes, Claire Aliens. I have a video on it. That's psychic smelling. I just got really kind energy from Miguel. Like he's not gonna be mean to you. When is the best time? Tomorrow, and the reason why is they just want you to do it and get it over with, because no matter how long you think about it, it's not going to change anything. You're still going to probably say the same thing that you do tomorrow versus like weeks from now, but it's more of like getting it off of your plate so that you are not thinking about it. Books, yeah, just like reading in general. Like I just saw you just taking a lot of like your free time to like read something that you're really interested in. I feel like there's knowledge in books that you need. I read all the time, so keep on keeping on. Yeah, because I'm specifically getting the more like knowledge books. Maybe try something that you haven't like. Maybe something new. It's almost this energy of like you're gonna find something new that you're interested in. It's not like a book that you already have. Like maybe you're like, oh, I want to learn about knitting or something, and then you pick up a knitting book. I don't know. Like it's almost like keep doing it, but like keep your options open to new things you maybe wouldn't have tried. What is your strongest Claire? You know, Winifred, you asked what your strongest Claire was, but I just got what your weakest one was. And I just got that your weakest was like smelling and seeing. I know that doesn't answer your question, but there you go. You guys can keep asking questions with speed readings. Are you talking to my spirit guides? Yes, they're jokesters. At least your spirit guides, Angelica. And can you get me the mermaid's name, please? I just heard Ezekiel, but I know that that's an angel. take it with a grain of salt. We're doing speed readings right now, so anyone that throws up the questions will get an answer. So lay off the romance novels. Yes, like that's literally what I was kind of seeing, Lori. I should have said that. But it's almost like, yeah, the fiction is great, but like it's about learning something new. 4, Silly Rabbit. You can do it, is what I heard. Get it over with. What's my spirit guide? I just heard angel, but I don't think it's like a literal angel how you would think of it, but they're almost like, I'm very high vibrational. Yes, speed readings are free for now. I don't do it all the time, but they're really short and quick. Do I have a spirit animal guide? I just heard beaver. Who's my spirit guide? Is that better? Your mom just stepped in. Like, she's like, I'm one. Should I get my certification? Ooh, Taylor, I just got like a picture of the fence. Like, and I got yes and no. Like, there's going to be downsides and upsides either way. Maybe asking, like, how do you make that decision? 4? Oh my gosh. Oh, if that's too much, like, I think the point there was like max, like whatever the max amount you're thinking about right now, I think. And that's, remember too, with these speed readings, take it with a grain of salt. Like, literally, Angelica, they're like, why can't I be an angel and a mermaid at the same time? She just said, you're doing so good, honey. Jana. That's for Jana. Silly Rabbit, it's take a deep breath. You're doing a lot at once right now, but it's not. It's like the same message of like, it's not too much. Is anyone with me right now? I just heard like Grandpa Jay, Grandpa Joe, Grandpa something. He's in your house, whoever it is. Who's my spirit guide? I'm just gonna say what I got. I got like goo. It was something before. Your spirit guide was like some sort of small animal, and then it turned into goo. Like, it didn't want me to see what it looked like. Twin angels, yes. Yes. That's creepy. They're like screwing with you, Angelica. Like, they were like, Samantha, it's whatever you want it to be. And I think, I don't know if I talked about that in my recent spirit guide, or it's not very recent at all. It's kind of an older one at this point. Like, guides, they don't really think of names like we do. They're kind of, it's a whole thing. But I am going to do a podcast on spirit guides because it's such a frequently asked question. I'm hoping to record it Friday. But it's something that everyone wants to know, and everyone seems to have a hard time connecting with their own guides. And I have a few theories on why that is. And so I'm going to be doing a podcast about that. So expect it to be up maybe by the end of the weekend. Alrighty. Thank you, Taylor. Good night. All right. I'm going to do like 2 or 3 more. We're going to wrap up the speed readings. But yeah, so if you feel like, my point there was like, all these spirit guide questions, if you feel like that is something you struggle with, maybe keep an eye out for that podcast, because that's something I've been feeling called to talk about. Especially as I've like developed a deeper relationship with my guides. I feel like there's certain levels of understanding your guides. Silly Rabbit, I just got your own thoughts. That's what's around you most of the time. Like Jana, I'm getting like happy medium. Not rushing it like how you think, but also not slowing down slower. I hope that makes sense. But if I rush it, I get so grumpy. I did say they couldn't. That's pretty cool. Am I being too slow? No. No. There's a kitty outside meowing. Kitty. Kitty, kitty. I can't see him. Kitty, kitty. Do you want to come in? I think those kitties are out there and they're like, what the hell is going on? My shed has become a house for about 200 cats. And that is like a typical thing for me. I'm going to wrap up these speed readings, by the way. I'm just going to hang out for the rest of the night. So if you want to head out. But I'm just going to hang out and chat. But this shed, I've talked about it a few times, but they tore down the house that's right next to me. It looked like a quintessential haunted house for the longest time. There used to be people living in it, but they were all disabled in some way or another, so they couldn't really take care of their home. And then they all moved, and the house was just a mess and had asbestos in it. And basically, it sat for the longest time before they actually tore it down. And now there's a new house going up, and it's like super brand new. It's going up so fast, but all the cats that used to basically live in their hoarded up home don't have anywhere to go. So they've all chosen under my shed as a place to be. And every single morning, maybe I'll share it on my Instagram stories one of these times, but they line up, they come out and they sit in the sunshine and they line up in this beam of sunlight that always comes right over here. And there's so many cats. My dog has like gotten used to it, all of them being out here. And I've always been like that. There's always cats around me in whatever home that I'm in. And I think they just know that I'm like a safe place. Like I never go up and try to touch the cats or hurt them. And they just know when people are like that. I know my spirits are funny. One time I asked for myself for the time and they told me it was 8 p.m. Okay, good, Elo. Sometimes I feel like my boss is tricking you. I feel like it's less of a trick and more of like, has she thought this through? Like, does she know what she wants? Like, that's the energy. So as long as you come to the table with like, yes, I do know what I want. I think it's less of a tricking and more like, are you sure you're sure? You know what I mean? All right. I'm going to end the readings there, you guys. So I will say that this Friday's video is going to be, I don't know what the title is yet. I need to still figure it out. But it's something along the lines of things that people do that psychics hate. And I'm really excited about this. I've wanted to make it for such a long time. And it's kind of just like the things that you shouldn't do to psychics. Not that any of you guys do that, but it's more so that people that are new to my channel can maybe like look and be like, oh, I should be nicer to psychics. And then also for those of you who are readers, I'm going to give some good tips on like, what do you do when people come to you and do these things? Like, how do you handle this? So I think it's going to be more valuable in that aspect. So that's going to be this week's video. And then I've got my schedule right here. So I'm just going to give it to you all right here. And then next week is going to be psychic games that you can play with a partner. So this is kind of like a list of all the exercises that you can do with like 2 people or more than 2 people, plus some that you probably haven't heard of. And the reason why I wanted to make this was 1, because if you have people you can play with, it's a lot easier. And then 2, it's like great for like girls' nights, or if you want to have like some sort of woo-woo party, you can have some ideas of games to play. I'm forcing my husband to shoot that B-roll with me. So you're going to see him in that. We're going to film that tomorrow, actually. And then I have my last dreaming video next week. And then I'm going to do a pick a card. And then it'll be my first Sabbath video. which is literally like already almost edited. That might come sooner. Those might be in a different order, but those are some upcoming videos that we've got. Again, remember to join on the Patreon because you will get early access to videos. You are also going to get like Patreon only content. So videos that are specifically made for Patreon, there's already, I want to say 1 or 2 up there that basically no one else will ever get to see. And then another tier, you get to ask me psychic development questions and kind of pick my brain. And it's a really good spot if you have like one question, but you don't really want to do like a whole 30-minute session with me. And then let's see, the next tier is obviously the member live nights, and basically everyone gets a reading on those nights right now. I think next month, if everybody is game for it, we are going to do kind of like a Zoom meeting so we can actually like chat with each other face to face. Like you can turn off the video if you want. You can just type the whole time if you really want to. Like there won't be any like shame against that. But I know that's some things that people have requested of the live nights is they really wanted to be able to do this like face to face. Maybe we'll play like psychic games. Maybe we'll just hang out and get to know each other. I'll have a plan. I don't have one yet. I'll have a plan. And then I think the upper tier has we have like a group reading that I do monthly. And that's kind of like fluid and changing at the moment. I did what I wanted to do, but I just feel like it's not quite like there yet, but you'll still obviously get like something good out of it for sure. Thanks, Lori. Have a good night too. And then yeah, that's the Patreon. It is there if you want to rejoin as part of like the memberships. Happy to have you guys there. I'm really excited about it. It's just a fun platform to use, and it's so much better than the YouTube memberships ever were. It was very messy on YouTube, and like this way you can actually message me and leave comments. So it's very, very useful. But what else? I think that's it, you guys. Hopefully I'll have a new podcast out by the end of this weekend, specifically on spirit guides. And yeah, you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm obviously here with a new video every single Friday. And I try to premiere those at like 11:11 every week. So if you're like wondering, Mountain Time. So you'll see it if you have your notifications turned on. I think that's it, you guys. Thank you for joining me. I have to go give my cat an enema. And I wish I was joking, but I'm not. So, yay. I don't want to get off, but alrighty. See you guys. Thank you much for joining. Have a good night, and I will see you. Oh, when's our next live? I should actually figure that out. I believe, again, it's going to be in the description of every video, but if you go to my website, it's basically just under my events tab. And I also put up events there that, like, if I'm ever doing like a local event or like an online event that has like a certain date to it, it will be up on that event page. I mean, actually, I've got a ton of events booked for this year, but it's all like private stuff. Like, I think I've already got a Christmas party booked. I actually had a baby shower ask me today. Got several things. I'm doing like a business corporate event, which is always interesting going to those because there's some people that are totally into it and some people who are just like, what? They have a psychic here? You know what I mean? Those aren't my favorite places to be. Eventually I would like to phase those out, but what am I looking for? Oh, events. So yeah, if you go on my event page, you can see all the live nights. And I specifically put which ones are member nights too, so you know. And if you click on them, it'll take you to Patreon so you can sign up as well. But looks like our next one will be April 19th. So I think we have a week off, right? Yeah, we'll have a week off and then we'll be back. And then the member night will be that week following. So yeah. You have class. Good night. Thank you so much. I love your sense of humor. You're very funny. Thank you. I'm just laughing with myself over here. I'm just talking to myself. All right. All right, you guys. Good night. Thank you so much. I will see you in 2 weeks.